Hi, I'm April from Spark Today, and welcome to the third annual James Black Bowie Knife Heritage Festival. This morning, I'm here with bladesmiths from all over the nation, I would think. It's not just Arkansas, right?
That's correct.
And they're here to show their skill, their handcraft, and to celebrate the Bowie knife. Right now, I'm with Brandon Marvel. He said he's from Greenbrier, Arkansas. Brandon, how long did you say you've been a bladesmith?
It's easier to say since '03.
Okay. And what made you decide to get into this?
I really just got tired of buying knives that couldn't do what I wanted them to do. So,
What did you want them to do?
survive.
Why are you so hard on a knife?
I just think it's a tool that's meant to be used. So,
Okay, well, show me one of yours.
yeah. So this is actually my competition chopper this year. We're actually testing this steel. This is a new steel. It's a thermite weld. It's got a real distinct pattern in it, but we're interested to see how it was. And part of that, I want a knife to survive, is I enter these competitions and we wear them out. So for sure, a lot of development and time goes into that, but it's really fun. It's exciting to do.
Are you enjoying being out here today? Have you been to this festival before, or is it your
This
first?
is my third year. Yes, I've been here every year.
Are there other festivals like this just for bladesmiths?
There are other events like this, but I think this one's a one-off with the Bowie and the heritage that's here and the James Black School. There's a lot to it. And then the chopping competition with the show is also pretty good.
I mean, that's a testimony in itself to come out to the James Black Bowie Knife Heritage Festival. See, I think there's 28 bladesmiths, I was told. There's Melissa Miller from Naked and Afraid, the two guys from Forged in Fire.
Doug Marcaida and Jason Knight, both of them.
There's so much out here, but this isn't just your dad's festival. There are arts and crafts for moms. There is a kids zone. Now, I know the weather isn't quite cooperating today, but they've moved things in the gym. There is an alternate plan, so come on out to Historic Washington and see what these guys have to offer. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
I'm April, and I'm back coming to you from Historic Washington, where we're have the third annual James Black Bowie Knife Heritage Festival, and I'm here with Ramsey Richardson from Double R Forge. Tell me, how long have you been doing this?
As a hobby for about 12 years, and then 3 years, the past 3 years for full time.
Okay, and what made you start getting into it?
Being born and raised in rural Arkansas, I've just always had a love for the outdoors. I was always hunting and always fishing, and with that come a love and appreciation for knives. And from that, I just got the hankering to make one for myself, and it bit me, and it just snowballed from there.
Okay, and tell me, the thing that caught my interest about his table is he didn't just have knives. Tell us about that right there, a hatchet.
Yes, ma'am. This is a 2-pound hatchet that I forged out of a leaf spring off of a dump truck. Anyway, I like to broaden my skills, I guess so to say. So I like to be able to make more than just a knife. I like to be able to forge other different types of tools as well. So,
What's this, right?
That is a work in progress. It's called the karambit, and I'm not exactly sure the country of origin of this style of knife, but it's made to be a personal defense fighting knife.
Okay.
And it was a custom order. It's the first one I have ever attempted of this style. So it's a learning process, but it's getting there, and I think it's going to be good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Do you like coming out here for this festival?
Yes, ma'am. I do enjoy this festival. I've done it every year now. They really like to focus on the local makers. So you see a lot of the local talent when you walk around this room, and there's some others from farther away that come in. But, being a small town, being rural Arkansas, and being close to where the Bowie knife was created, we have quite a knife-making community in this area.
Okay.
So they really pull these knife makers from this local community, from this local, 2 to 3 hour radius, and they showcase their talent here at this show. So I think I love this show. I think it's absolutely excellent.
Thank you so much for that. And you heard him say it. He loves it, so you come on out here too, so you can love it as well.
Thank y'all.
I'm April, and I'm back coming to you from Historic Washington for the third annual James Black Bowie Knife Heritage Festival. Right now, I'm with Cass Stanford from D Queen, right?
Right.
Okay, and Cass, how long have you been a bladesmith?
About 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
What made you decide to become a bladesmith? What got you interested?
So I worked at Riverside Machine, and we do all this stuff for knife makers. And several years past, and finally I jumped into it.
Okay.
So,
And have you been here every year at this festival?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was told by another of our bladesmiths that you not only are bladesmiths yourself, but you also help others in the knife making community by offering supplies or holding meetings.
Yeah. Yeah, so we do a monthly meeting, second Thursday of every month. We sell forges, presses, pretty much everything for knife makers, steel, materials. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. Well, what else do you want people to know, a good reason to come out today and look at all your guys' products?
I mean, everything's here, everything you need.
You're right. I've seen hatchets. I've seen all kinds of interesting products today.
So we got everything but guns. So
Okay.
all the man stuff besides guns. So
You're right, but it's not just your dad's festival, because there's arts and crafts for moms, there's stuff out there for kids, and there's food.
that's right. Heck yeah.
Thank you for being with us today, Cass. Hi, I'm April, and I'm coming to you from the second old courthouse at Historic Washington State Park. And we're here with Pam Beasley, the superintendent of Historic Washington State Park, to tell you some of the things you can find if you come out today to the third annual James Bowie Heritage Festival. Did I say that right?
The James
Black Bowie
Bowie Knife
Heritage.
Festival.
Well, see, I was saying Bowie Knife all day, and then someone just told me, no, it's just Bowie Festival. So there's a festival, and you should come, okay?
That's right.
But if you come out, there's so much about James Black and the knives, but there's also a lot of history here. What do you think are some of the highlights people can get out here today?
I think coming out and taking a look at some of the architecture of the town, learning about the Southwest Trail, which is really the reason why people came to Washington in the first place.
Yeah.
It was a jumping off spot for Texas. That's the same reason why James Bowie came here, is because he was headed to Texas. But he wasn't the only one. I mean, gosh, there was Bowie, there was Travis, there was Austin. All of those guys, Houston, all of them made stops here as they make their way west. Because we have to remember that Mexico was only 12 miles down the road, which we now think of as Texas.
That is true. So today, that's some of the things they can see. On any given day, though, what are some of the highlights if someone wants to come out to Historic Washington and visit?
I like to say, you know, it's not all just about people, although, of course, people have made the town. But the large trees, we have several trees in the town that are heritage trees.
Yeah.
Some have been planted since 1838. And so those are magnificent to see. Like I said before, take a look at some of the architecture. It's not what you see these days, because you see a lot of Greek revival here from that time period. Or you can come and eat lunch at the restaurant. We are always happy to feed people when they come in for that. And the Surrey ride, which today it's nice and rainy, but taking the Surrey ride with two of our, we have two teams of large draft animals, and both of those are a great way, if you're riding with one of them, to see the town. If you don't have a lot of time, take that tour, and you'll get an overview of what the town is all about.
I would agree. I was here last spring, and I got to see the big magnolia tree down there and take a ride around on the Surrey, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah, we're real proud to have those two teams of horses. They are so gentle, but they're so massive. And so people don't see large animals like that as much anymore. It's not a riding animal. It's not one that people ride on. They are truly jacked animals, and they are just massive, massive.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Pam. And you heard it from the superintendent. There are tons of things to see out here at Historic Washington State Park. Whether you come today for the third annual James Black Bowie Heritage Festival, or if you come on any given day just to get a little bit of history, architecture, or ecology, I guess.
Yes, yeah. Or botany.
I'm April, and I'm back, and I'm coming to you from the third annual James Black Bowie Heritage Festival. And now I'm with James, who is from Maumelle, Arkansas. How many years have you been a bladesmith?
I have been a bladesmith for quite a long time. I started in 2015 part-time, and 3 years ago I went full-time.
Okay. And the thing that caught my attention about his table when I was walking by is he didn't just have his knives. he had this cute little book. Tell me about that.
So a few years ago, my daughter wrote a poem for a poetry contest, and it went over so well, we decided to make a book out of it for her. So she wrote everything in this, and she also did all the photography for the illustrations with it.
That's pretty amazing. Do you get a lot of people into that? That lets kids know a lot about your craft, too.
Yes, it does. She's really interested in doing this as a job, too, and yeah, she's done really well selling these.
And also, as I was walking by, tell me about that piece. Let's hold it up.
Okay, so here at the festival, we have a cutting competition every year. This was last year's entry for me in that Bowie style cutting competition.
And how did you do?
I placed third last year.
That's pretty good, isn't it? There's a lot of people that come to this.
There are a lot of people, yes.
Well, we're so glad you could be here with us, and thank you for being back.
Thank you much.
Hi, I'm April, and I'm back coming to you from historic Washington at the 3rd annual James Black Bowie Heritage Festival. I'm here with bladesmith Michael Cahill, and he said he was from Hemp Hill,
Texas. Yes.
I had that right, Hemp Hill, Texas. And his table caught my eye with his sign, "You bleed on it, you buy it." Does that happen often when someone's testing out your product?
No, it actually hasn't. I've made about 4,000 knives in my career. I do shows every month, and I have yet to have a customer cut themselves. So it's just a fun way to warn people, be careful.
I mean, instead of you break it, you buy it, you bleed on it, you buy it. What are some of your more popular knives, you think? I tell you what, this caught my eye because it's not as smooth, it's patterned.
Yeah, so you probably picked out the one knife on the table that I'm a little ashamed of.
Why?
Well, so I accidentally left this in acid for over 24 hours. And this natural finish, or this finish that you see, is actually how the steel's eaten away by the ferric chloride.
Okay.
And it turned out fine. It turned out great. It was a happy accident.
I thought it was on purpose.
No, it was an accident, but it looks a lot like an old knife that you might find sitting in a peat bog for thousands of years. So it's really neat. It's a really neat effect. You know what? There's always a customer out there looking for something like that. So.
True, and it looks like on these you have both the effect and the smooth.
Yes, so this I get by taking a ball peen hammer and just peening it to give it some texture. This is a stainless knife, and sometimes stainless steel can be a little bit boring, so you can just jazz it up and give it a little hammered finish.
How long have you been a bladesmith?
I've been bladesmithing now for 9 years and full-time for about 5.
And what got you into this?
I was studying history at Sam Houston State, and I did not like being an academic. I was raised to work with my hands, and when I got to college, I just didn't like sitting there and reading and writing 24/7. So I needed to find something to do that gave me a creative outlet and let me essentially stop being an academic for a bit and be a man again. So I made myself a little forge in the backyard, filled it up with fire brick and charcoal and a hair dryer, and I went and bought a cheap $50 Harbor Freight anvil, and I went to work, and I fell in love with it, and 4,000 knives later, it's my full-time job. A Lone Star maker for the Texas Knife Makers Guild, and this is how I support my family.
And you come to Arkansas for the James Black Bowie Heritage Festival.
I do. This is the 3rd year, and I'm going to keep coming back because I love it, and I love James Black, and this is such a great way to keep history alive.
Well, we thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
I'm April, and I'm back at Historic Washington, coming to you from the 3rd annual James Black Bowie Heritage Festival. I'm here with Carlin Alendis, bladesmith. He is from Des Moines, Iowa. He came a long way to be here, and you said this is your 2nd year?
Yes, ma'am. 2nd year.
And as I was walking through the exhibit, what caught my eye was this piece. I'm going to let you pick it up. I don't do well with knives. So tell me about that.
This is the largest meteorite blade that I've ever made. It has wrought iron on the spine, pure meteorite core in the center, and then 1086 modified for the blade. The handle is wrought iron and pure nickel, and then the handle is African gemsbach. It's a pretty nice one, I like to think.
How long does it take to make something like this?
This one was a collaborative collaborative project between me and my friend Evan. So it took us about a year to keep getting together and make it, because it was making each piece by each piece and then molding them together. It's a toughie.
Okay. What is this I've noticed?
Call that my hunter's hatchet. Man, that's just made for hunting. It's essentially a cleaver that works really well for hunters. Most of what we do is going to be kind of field-based, hunters, ranchers, farmers, useful stuff.
Yeah.
We do the custom work, but most of the time we're doing working knives.
And you said you've been doing this 28 years. What got you started into bladesmithing?
I was a homeschooled kid and got to play around helping with a heat treat once, and that was literally, I was done. Yeah, I kept playing with it since then, off and on.
And last question, you're from Des Moines, Iowa. I'm sure you've been a lot of places. Why did you come down to historic Washington, Arkansas to attend this festival?
I got invited and I thought I'd give it a shot, and everybody was so nice I figured I'd keep coming until they tell me to go away.
They are pretty nice here.
They are.
And this festival features bladesmiths. It's not, there's a mixture of arts and crafts and things outside for the kids and the history.
Not just bladesmiths. You have some of the top guys in the world here. You've got Jerry Fisk, who was really good at creating art pieces. You got Lynn Ray, who's considered one of the best smiths in the planet right now. And if there is kind of the epitome to a forged blade, he's probably at the top who's created it right now, called the X-Ray. It's really worth talking about.
Okay. I might have to do that next.
He's really friendly. You'll like him.
Okay. Well, thank you for being down here with us and joining us.
My pleasure.
It's April, and I'm back coming to you from the third annual James Black Bowie Heritage Festival. And right now I have Mr. Lynn Ray with me, who said he's been doing this for over 20 years?
Yes, 22 years, I believe.
Okay. And this morning he won an award. Tell me what you won.
Well, I won the Best Historically Inspired Award, and I used...
I'm going to show this
I
first.
used... Yeah, you do what you need.
Okay.
This is a sword. Let me bring it around here. This is a sword. It's kind of a hybrid sword, but it's inspired by the Japanese culture. And got a long story with it, but this won the award, and I just wanted to share that with you. You've got the actual plaque right there.
Well, and the reason I wanted to talk to you is I heard more than 2 people say you were the man I needed to speak to because you were an artist when it came to bladesmithing.
Well, I try, but I don't know about that, but we'll see. I do try. I have an unusual style when it comes to making knives. I can make the really polished, high-end, the nicer items, but I like to make things that reflect my taste.
Yeah.
Like this one right here. Now this knife has a lot of forge finish, so I forge my work in a cold forge, like the old timers used to do. So I'm one that carries on the tradition of forging in a cold forge. And so you see the black finish, the texture that's still on it. But it's not only that, there's a lot of things to do with the construction that's totally unique. And I teach how to make handles and guards. This is a guard, this is a handle, of course this is a blade. But there's all kinds of configurations that an individual maker can choose to apply to his knife. And this one is very unusual, it's one of a kind. But it's because I've studied the different techniques, and I try to put it together based on what a blacksmith would do, his thinking, a blacksmith would do. So knife makers, they have a way of thinking, but a blacksmith thinks a little bit differently. So I applied that to this work.
Well, then you came to the right place for this festival.
Yeah, that's right. This is James Black Festival. So James Black was a blacksmith. He was also a knife maker. And so we get a lot of inspiration from the old timers. And so I'll be an old timer one day if I'm not already. So it's all fun. It's great.
Well, thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm April, and I am still at Historical Washington at the 3rd Annual James Black Bowie Heritage Festival. And y'all will be here how long today?
How
Till
long?
6?
Yeah, we'll be here till 6.
So you still have time, and you can meet this guy, Randy Caston. How long have you been a bladesmith?
Started in 2017. And I started watching the show, and that's what got me started.
And he said he's even been you were on Forged in Fire and won.
In 2019, I was in season 6, episode 16. I went on and won the show.
How was that? Did that change things?
It kind of opened your eyes to things, and it kind of got you more out in the public. Met a lot of folks, become friends with a lot of folks, and it helps you learn.
And did you tell me this? You've come here all 3 years?
I've been here all 3 years, yeah.
You know, a lot of these guys I've talked to today have come all 3 years. Y'all really do have a pretty close-knit community.
Yeah, we do. We like to share knowledge. I pick up something from everybody, whether they're good smiths, bad smiths, and I don't know if there's a bad smith, but, you know, I pick up a little bit out of everybody. I like to pick brains, so I enjoy talking to other smiths.
Well, we were so glad to have you. Before we go, let's show us your piece right here.
This is a copy of the Bowie #1. It's the fittings and the relish on it is all sterling silver or silver of a sort. It's the same specs as the original Bowie #1, and it's got walnut burl, and it's what James Black made for Risen Bowie.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, and we were glad to have you here.
Enjoyed it. It's been a good show. It's always worth coming out and see the Smiths and other things that's going on.
You heard him say it, so come on out and see what you can love to.